All right, today we've got a double unboxing. Not because either of these couldn't be their own video, but because I requested too many laptops and we need to get through them. So we've got the Asus ZenBook. It's a 14-incher and it's relatively powerful, not as powerful as I'd like. And we've also got the Asus ProArt, probably more powerful than you'd ever want. Let's get into them. So first up is the ZenBook. Oh, is there a... We do get a laptop case, which is always nice to see. Nice and simple, has some nice little writing on it. Seems like it's probably fake leather. Now we have the actual machine. Apparently it was Best Laptop Brand Winner 2020. Sure. And finally, the power adapter. So that's 100 watts being delivered over USB Type-C. Let's just go all the way right now. There we go. Nice aluminum chassis. Apparently it's diamond cut. That's all the rage these days. Although as Samsung showed us, being CNC machined and diamond cut doesn't mean it's a good chassis. It just means it's expensive. It feels pretty decent from first touches, and first look at it, it looks pretty decent as well. Excellent screen to body ratio, very little for bezels. Pretty big trackpad. It's kind of a weird shape, so we might have some palm rejection issues, but we'll find out soon enough. And keyboard seems good at first glance, although we'll look more at that later. Now for I/O, we have micro SD, 2 Thunderbolt ports, headphone 3.5mm. Thank you, Asus.
Asus. Repeat once again, Asus.
They took that off of one of their last laptops, which was bad. Also full-size HDMI, and along on the other side, a single USB Type-A port, which is nice to see because that'll probably be the one that you plug your mouse into. Now, that can go off to the side. And our more powerful one here, the StudioBook 16. Start off with the power adapter. I wonder if it's Type-C. Nope, it's 240 watts, which means it's definitely not Type-C. It also means we have a powerful laptop here. Oh, this is a fancy box. It's upside down. Let's try that again. Wow. Wow, at first look, this really reminds me of like the Zephyrus G15 or M16. Yeah, so here we have the M16 and here we have the StudioBook 16. StudioBook actually looks a bit bigger. Wow, does this have a 3x2 display? That is massive. If it's OLED as well, that's gonna be really nice to look at. We also have this knobby chum. So it's kind of like a rotary dial, and you can also press it in for a button. Let's also take a look at the I/O before we get into it. So we have 2 USB Type-Cs. It doesn't say Thunderbolt on it. We also have full-size HDMI, DC in, full-size USB Type-A. And on the other side, full-size SD card reader. Love to see that. I really hate it when like the micro ones on this one, you can't just, take your SD card from your camera straight into your laptop. Really like to be able to do that. And oh, full-size Ethernet. Again, really like to see that. Should we just go right into it, David?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. But first, our sponsor. Thanks to Vessi Footwear for sponsoring today's video. Vessi Footwear is known for being lightweight, easy to pack, comfortable, and most importantly, waterproof. You don't have to worry about the weather anymore because these shoes are made with a material called Dymatex, which keeps your feet cool in the summer and warm in the winter. They're easy to slip on and off, and lots of people here at LMG wear them all the time. Keep your feet dry in the future wet months and save $25 off with our offer code SHORTCIRCUIT at vessi.com/shortcircuit. Wow, that is a vivid display. Oh, they also have Lightroom already installed. Oh, darn. It's not a touchscreen. That's unfortunate. This trackpad's a bit odd because, like, you can't click it in, and they do have dedicated mouse buttons, but the problem is that it's quite wide, and they have 3 of them, so it's kind of hard to hit left click. I want to be like right here, but then my finger is on middle click instead of left click. If you're one of those people that uses 2 hands to trackpad, you'd absolutely love this. Linus does it, it's gross, I agree.
Chop his hands off.
Yeah, you'll probably get used to it and just kind of use it like here. For now, it's annoying. Shut up. Damn it, there's no touchscreen. We'll worry about that later. I want to look at the little one for now. This laptop I was very excited to see until I saw the specs, and then I was slightly disappointed. Not so much because this isn't powerful. It is a very powerful laptop, just Asus really set up my expectations by creating the Flow X13. And I was hoping that they'd be able to deliver a similar level of performance in this guy, but instead the GPU is an MX450, which is just not fast enough. Also, the trackpad is very interesting. Damn it, this one also isn't a touchscreen. And how do I use my trackpad? Okay. Swipe there, click that. Now it's a trackpad. Press up there, it's no longer a trackpad. Oh, what? The mouse goes down onto the trackpad, which is exactly where I want my mouse to be, Asus. Thank you very much. Why? Who wants that? Asus does have some laptops where you have a screen here, and then they have another display here that sort of like pops up, and then your keyboard's down below. And I actually quite like those ones because it sort of gives you like more real estate. And if you're doing stuff like video editing where you can take your timeline, put it down below, and have your actual video full display up top, it's quite a nice way to do your work. But I just don't know how this display is ever going to make me like more productive. I'm just gonna disable it. Once it is just a trackpad, it's actually quite nice to use. The tracking's good, the click feels good. It's pretty large. I was a bit concerned about my hand hitting it, and I still am, because like this is where I would type, and this palm's really on it, but it doesn't seem to be having issues. Like, it's not really moving around. Good job on the tuning, Asus. I am typing a thing here. Okay, that's like a very respectable keyboard. I give it like an A. A lot of thin and lights have really great keyboards these days. This one isn't at the top end of that, but at the same time, I can't really fault it. One thing I'm not a huge fan of is that they have like home, page up, page down and stuff on the right, as well as pretty generous like shift, enter, backspace keys, which moves the whole thing over to the left quite a bit. And when you combine that with this also quite wide trackpad, my right hand is completely over the trackpad and it's kind of easy to click it. I could see that getting annoying, but at the same time, you'll probably just figure out how to hold your hands and it won't really be an issue. So this is an issue that I've had in the past with OLED displays on laptops, and it seems to still be an issue here when I get it to full brightness, but when you're displaying something that's white, like, you know, just this notepad window, it just looks kind of dirty. There's a couple things that can contribute to it. So one, I might have a bit of astigmatism in my left eye, and apparently OLEDs and like the subpixels can show up more for people with stigmatisms. Although it's kind of annoying because this isn't a touch display, and for the most part, I only found like the graininess and such to be a problem when there was the digitizer over the top. I did talk with a bunch of people from like Calman, HTC, HP, and Samsung a while ago when I was trying to figure out what the problem was with this. There's so little space for all of the circuitry to be going to each individual pixel that they can kind of cause interference with each other, and it's hard to calibrate it so like white on every single pixel is exactly the same. It does look really good. Like if I get rid of that, this looks incredible. Look at that black, dude. It is fantastic. Let's take a look at the specs in this thing. So we have an Intel i7 1165G7, so that does have Tiger Lake graphics and the good ones, which is why when we have a GeForce MX 450, do we really need it? I would say probably not, but Intel's Xe drivers have been honestly kind of so you might be very happy to be able to have NVIDIA's drivers so that like things just work. We have also an Intel Wi-Fi 6 card, 1 terabyte of storage, and 16 gigabytes of RAM. I do believe that the RAM is soldered on, which is unfortunate because if you are using this for productivity stuff, you might want 32 gigs in the future. Okay, let's put this guy away for a second and take a look at its bigger brother. And we're at full brightness. Now we do have a little bit of sort of like the graininess that I was talking about on the other display, but I have to be like here in order to see it. 4K, 3840 by 2400, kind of a weird resolution, but it looks really good to my eyes. Viewing angles are fantastic, as you would expect, and it just looks so good. All right, I think it's the exact same key switches as on the other one, which I can't really fault it except for the trackpad placement. So we have numpad over here, which moves the whole keyboard to the left. So once again, like my right hand's in the middle of the laptop. So I'm kind of doing this weird, like, I don't know, T-Rex arms thing. And my right hand is completely over the trackpad. Like, I just right clicked there. I thought it was my palm clicking it, but it's like way back here, like the real heel of my hand. I don't really know how to solve this. I guess that one thing that they could have done is just not have these physical buttons. I know some people really like them, and if they were gone, it probably would have been a lot easier to just have a trackpad with good palm rejection, because like you can't reject a click. I feel like I'm doing a lot of complaining about things that don't really matter, but it's the kind of thing where a bunch of annoying little things can add up to a lot of being very annoyed. Let's use this thing properly though. I'm gonna go grab a mouse. Ryzen 9 5900HX, so that's why we don't have Thunderbolt, but 8 cores, 16 threads, basically the best CPU you can have in a laptop. 32 gigs of RAM, Intel Wi-Fi 6 card, like to see that, glad they didn't have a MediaTek one, and an RTX 3070. So this thing is a friggin' beast, especially for how thick it is. Look at this. I wonder if that'll be a problem. Disable the trackpad, goodbye. And as a mobile workstation for video or photo editing, this seems like it might be one of the best laptops you could get. This Nobule just isn't working in Lightroom right now, sucks. Getting it to work probably isn't hard, or Asus is going to fix it very soon. And when they do fix it, which I'm sure they will because it's a core reason why you get this laptop, it's going to be an absolute beast. This knob where you can just immediately adjust exposure, blacks, whites, shadows, saturation, all of that stuff from just this little wheel. It's so good. Like that's 90% of your photo editing right there. System volume.
Entire workflows with it.
That works.
Work docs are connected to all your work apps and data.
That's very nice. But how does it do with CrabRave? All right, okay. My first impressions of that are that it's very solid, but probably not quite as much bass as the XPS, but you can hear all of the bits from like highs, mids, lows. They're all there, which is quite impressive in a laptop, really. All right, so we're on the Asus. Over to the XPS, the soundstage feels a lot wider. That is for sure. Oh, it doesn't sound as good now. That's why we have a comparison laptop. Yeah, there's a lot more happening in the XPS version. That sounds like a tinny piece of crap now. Well, good try, Asus. It fooled me until I listened to them side by side. Let's try the other one out. Getting distracted, but I do want to see if this is a fingerprint reader. It is, excellent. So, love to see that. Getting into your laptop, just using your fingerprint. So this is the little boy. Here's the much bigger one. It sounds way fuller. Yeah, how? This one has down-firing speakers as well instead of up-firing ones. Why does it sound so much better? All right, let's break out the XPS for a proper comparison. All right. All right, I would say that the XPS 15 is like marginally better, but this guy sounds really good. This is a fine sounding laptop, especially for its size. Like, I don't expect a laptop that's this big to sound better than one that's larger, simply because it has more space for subs. So, like, A+ on the speakers on this guy, Asus. I don't know how you screwed it up on the bigger one. Let's just go back to this guy for a second, because I feel like I didn't really give my full thoughts on it. It's very well built. The screen is exceptional as long as you're not only doing productivity tasks. Like, this looks great. I do wish that it had a touchscreen option, but whatever, not everyone wants a touchscreen, so if that's you, get this, I guess. This is kind of like everything that I was hoping from those Samsung laptops, where like it has an awesome OLED display and overall just great build quality. Like, I think this is quite a good laptop, but Asus kind of just shot themselves in the foot by creating the Flow X13 and having a 3050 in that. If it had an RTX 3050 or a 3050 Ti, I would probably want to like daily drive this thing, because it's very nice and light, screen's exceptional, keyboard's good, trackpad, well, it's a good trackpad as long as you don't have the dumb thing on. IO's solid. Like, it's a laptop that's really hard to fault except for the spec config. And if you just got the version without the MX450, then like, great job. And like, I'm not saying this won't be powerful enough for you. It's probably going to be for what you're going to want to use it for. I just wish that they gave it a little bit more beans, because I know that they can do it. One more problem with the 14-incher here. It has a 63 watt-hour battery, which is a lot of battery, but they say it's good for 8 hours, which means it's probably good for 6 hours, which means it's a lot less efficient than the HP NV14, which I would expect to get like 8 to 10 hours instead of 6 to 8. As for our big boy here, if what you're mainly doing is video editing and photo editing, this thing is sick. Like, it's really unfortunate that the knob wasn't working in Lightroom, but when you have your hand right here, you have like mouse over there, hand like this, and you can easily operate the knob with your thumb. Like, I'm just doing the system brightness right now. That feels really good, and I could see it saving you a lot of time if what you mainly do is like Lightroom or photo editing or video editing. Like, you're gonna use this thing all the time. If that's your primary use case, especially with a 3x2 display, I really like this laptop. If you aren't primarily using that and you're not going to be like using the knob every single day, M16, better trackpad, I like the keyboard a bit more, high refresh rate display. This thing's really, really sick. It's probably also less expensive because stuff aimed at creators is dumb expensive. But damn, that OLED display. Well, there you go. Thanks for watching. Hit like, get subscribed, and just have a great day.